Which Denver team is closest to winning their next championship? This is your Denver Sports Daily for December or February 25th.
The biggest stories, the latest news. It's Denver Sports Daily.
The Broncos, Nuggets, and Avalanche are all in good positions to win a championship within the coming years, which begs the question, who will be next? Now, I'm going to go kind of in a way of eliminating teams that I don't think will win at least this season, because there is one in my mind that I think could win this season. Now, the first team I'm going to eliminate is the Denver Broncos. Last season, the Broncos had one of the best comebacks of all time, from losing Russell Wilson and taking on a huge dead cap hit. They had a new coach. All of those things you'd think would lead to a failing season, but they drafted their franchise QB, ended with a winning season, and went to the playoffs for the first time in 10 years. Now, the Broncos have a lot of great young players on this roster that I truly believe will end up winning a Super Bowl, but they're still rebuilding. I see their window being open from, you got to think 2028 to 2033, that area. And I know it's crazy to think about 2033. That feels like 30 years from now, but it's not. It's coming up. The Broncos could be a great team in that window. And it just goes to the fact that they are still rebuilding. You see them going to the playoffs with a rookie quarterback. And sure, they lost in the first round, but they put up a fight for the first drive, I could say, because they got that crazy touchdown on the first drive against Buffalo. But still, you go out there and you play your heart out. Good things are going to happen. They went to the playoffs. They are great. They will win a Super Bowl with this team. I promise you that. I can guarantee that. There's something in the air with this Broncos team. They're just not going to be the first to win it out of all the teams in Denver. Now, then it's between the Nuggets and the Avalanche. That can be a toss-up. In a lot of people's eyes, the Avalanche, and a lot of people's eyes, it's the Nuggets. Now, both teams are fit to win now. That's the key thing with them. They both have won within the past 3 years. They've won a championship in their respective sports. But now it's who's going to win this year. And there's a possibility they both could. I know that was a thing that Richie Carney was talking about last season. I have a clip of it somewhere of him saying that there's a chance that we could be having two parades this summer. And it didn't turn out well last summer, but this summer there is a chance. Now, what I will say is that the Avalanche are looking great. They're solid. They got their 2 new goalies in the net. They fixed a major issue that held them back from winning in years prior. But with moves like trading Mikko Rantanen and the uncertainty of some key players' health down the stretch, I don't see them winning this year. I don't see them winning this year. They could next year, but even then, you're starting to fall out of that window. If they want to win, this is the year, which then is what I'm saying. They could have 2 championships this year, which leaves the last option, the Colorado Rockies. Just kidding. No, it is the Denver Nuggets. Of all the teams, I believe the Denver Nuggets could win a championship, not only the earliest, but this year. They've been great. Not only have the Nuggets as a team been hot, but Nikola Jokic is averaging the best stats of his career. He's playing the best basketball of his career. And with him leading the team, they could, not just like they could maybe, they can beat any team in a 7-game series. There's no site that I'm seeing where it's like, maybe they won't match up well against the OKC Thunder. Maybe they won't match up well against the Boston Celtics in the finals. Any of those teams, you go to a 7-game series, I got the Nuggets. They are so hot right now. Now, odds makers have this to say about those teams. The Nuggets are plus 1,300 to win the finals. The Avs are plus 1,200 to win the Stanley Cup. And the Broncos are plus 5,500 to win the Super Bowl. So the odds makers have the Avs with a better chance. I don't see that. And those odds are brought to you by FanDuel. Those were found by FanDuel. So I'm not really seeing that. I don't think that the Avs have a better chance to win than the Nuggets, but the way that everything is lining up for the Nuggets right now, it's going to be a harder path than the Avalanche. So I think that's kind of what they're seeing. And then there's also the Rockies, who are plus 50,000 to win the World Series, tied for the worst odds with the White Sox and Marlins. So obviously that's who I got winning it all. Colorado Rockies, they're going to win the World Series. Plus 50,000, that's easy. That's easy. Now, I'd love to hear what you guys have to say. Please tell me who you think is going to be the first to win the next championship, because I'm rocking with the Nuggets. I think that the Broncos, again, have a great 5-year span from 2028 to 2033. I think that that's where they're really going to hit their stride, when Bo Nix is going to be in his prime and his best. And then the Avalanche, again, very well could win it this year. Now, moving on, the Denver Nuggets easily handled the Indiana Pacers last night, winning 125-116. Nikola Jokic and Aaron Gordon led the Nuggets to a win over the Pacers in their first matchup of the season. Jokic recorded 18 points, 9 rebounds, and a crazy career high 19 assists. That's nuts. That was to go along with Aaron Gordon's 25 points and 5 rebounds. Now, 6 Nuggets overall were in double digits for scoring, including the entire starting 5, and Zeke Naji, who had 14 points off the bench. Now, after this win, the Nuggets are 38-20 and the sole second position in the West, still 9 games behind the OKC Thunder in first and only half a game above the Houston Rockets, but they can get there. Now, they could, but should they? What I was saying yesterday is they can get to that first place. They've got a great stretch of games here going into the end of the season, but don't tire yourself out. That's what happened last season. You tired yourself out, and then you ended up losing in the second round to the Timberwolves. You can't do that. You can't get tired. Play slowly. Play your basketball. Get wins when they come, but don't go out there trying to get the first seed. You don't need it. You don't really need it. And especially with Nikola Jokic, 19 freaking assists. Are you kidding me? This guy's a center. He's a center. 19 assists, a new career high. There's nothing that this guy can do. If you were watching that game last night, it literally looked like he was just having fun. Like he didn't care. He was just passing the ball around, doing whatever he wanted to. He completely dismantled the Pacers, who again are a good team in the East. It just goes to show how good these Nuggets match up against other teams, especially in different conferences. In the finals, any team who doesn't play them 4 times a year is going to have a hard time beating them. Now, the Nuggets do play again this Thursday in a much-anticipated matchup against the Bucks. That's going to be between Jokic and Antetokounmpo. It's going to be a great matchup. Seeing those two guys go over it, always a really fun time. Now, moving on, the Broncos started this week off with some bad news as one of the assistant coaches was arrested on second-degree assault charges. Outside linebackers coach Michael Wilhoit was arrested on Sunday after he allegedly punched a peace officer at DIA. Now, Wilhoit has been on the Broncos since 2023 when Sean Payton hired him to be a part of his initial Broncos coaching staff. Now, Wilhoit had his first court hearing yesterday, and I will be sure to keep you guys updated on the situation because it's never good when you hear anything like that. You can't have things like this happen, especially with the Broncos. You don't want to take their mind off of what's important and going into this offseason. You can't start off bad like this. That's going to do it for your Never Sports Daily. I do want to read some of your comments. Let's see. Good morning, Joey. I'm assuming you're going to say any Denver team winning a championship anytime soon. The Broncos are about 3 years away of getting somewhat close. Yeah. So what I was saying about the Broncos is that I see their span from 2028 to 2023. So I'd match up about 3 years away from being in that window. So that's what that is. 3 years away from being in the window. But the Nuggets and the Avalanche, this is the year. The Avalanche have a bit of a shorter window. I don't think that if they don't win this year, it's going to be hard for them to win next year. It's going to be harder for them to win next year than it is this year. But the Nuggets, they've got some time. They've got about 2 or 3 more years in this window. In my eyes, in my head, they've got about 2 or 3 more years before I really am like, all right, this window's closed. No more championships. But then, yeah, the Broncos, that's when they hit their stretch. Then it's going to be a fun time to be a Broncos fan. Let's see. If I were have to guess, I would say the Avs are the closest to winning a championship. Fair. Again, it's really a toss-up between the Avalanche and the Nuggets. They're both looking great right now. They're both in that window. So if it's going to be anybody this year, it's going to be one of those two teams, or next year. But that'll do it for your Never Sports Daily. I'll be back with you guys again tomorrow, previewing a big Avalanche game, taking on the New Jersey Devils. But until then, y'all have a great rest of your day, and I will see you all tomorrow. Bye, guys.